All right, folks, good morning. Let's get started here. So for today, Friday, May 30th, we have the following information. So first off, um, we had core PCE price index, which came in as expected. We had goods trade balance, which came in better than expected, quite a bit better than expected, actually. Personal income month over month came in better than expected. Personal spending month over month came in as expected, and preliminary wholesale inventories came in better than expected. And let me see something here. Yeah, now that is noticeable. I do want to point this out. If you look at this trade balance right here, obviously the trend's been down, but that is easily the biggest jump I've ever seen in the trade balance, goods trades balance. So obviously we know why. All right, so now at 9:45 a.m., we have Chicago PMI, which is not an important report, so we'll see what happens. At 10 a.m., we'll have revised U of M consumer sentiment, which is a moderately important report. Then you'll have revised U of M inflation expectations, which is a mildly important report. 12:20 p.m., FOMC member Bostic speaks, and then after market close, we'll have FOMC member Goolsbee speak. All right, and that's it. All right, so let's take a close look at the rest of the market. So the QQQ ETF is currently basically flat. No significant changes there. You do see a sell-off here at 808. Let me just go back to that economic data for a second. So yeah, I don't see anything in particular that happened at that time that would have moved the price, but whatever the case may be, markets move at that time. Not sure exactly why. Anyway, we're kind of creeping right back up. Um, Yesterday's action was it wasn't technically bearish. It just came back down from the gap higher. Remember that the markets gapped higher yesterday in the pre-market because there was the expectation. Well, not the expectation. There was a ruling trade court that said that the tariffs would have to be abandoned because of how they were implemented. And then there's a stay on that order that was granted by the courts anyway. But that's what you would have expected. At least that's what I was pretty certain would happen, that there'd be a stay on that order. So long story short is that the gap higher, then we came back down, and we're basically where we were before at this point. Now, having said that, let's take a look at which stocks were moving yesterday. Yesterday we found Palantir PLTR, which is up 0.5% now, but yesterday was moving downwards. We took a chance to do a short position during this part of the move down towards the bottom of it, but after that it just stopped going down. And after that point, we didn't find too many consistent movers. There were some stocks that did end up doing okay, but this was the only one we caught. So that being said, let's take a look at the pre-market and see what we've got. So first of all, we've got BLRX, which is presently up 65% on about 11 million shares, is at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add that to our pre-market radar. Next up is BMGL, which is presently up 22% on 16.6 million shares, is at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add that to our radar. Next up is BSLK, which is presently up 75%, 16 million shares, at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add that. Next up is EOSE, which is presently down 2%, so not enough, so we'll skip that one. Let's look at FAAS. That is currently up 6.52% on 4.6 million shares, at least $1 per share. So we'll add that, FAAS. Next up, we have GLXY, which is presently down about 3.62%, so not enough, so we'll skip that one. Next up is HOLO, which is presently up 11.46% on 1.8 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add HOLO to the list. Next up is INTC, which is presently up about 0.25%, so not much, so we'll skip that. Next up, we'll have MLGO, which is presently down 2.52%, so we'll skip that one. Next up is NVIDIA, which I know has not moved enough, but let's see how much it moved. 0.64, so barely moved at all. Okay, and let's check out NVTS. NVTS only down 2.78%, not enough. Let's skip that one. Next up, NVVE, currently up 15% on 4.6 million shares. It's at least $1 per share, so we'll add NVVE to our list. Next up is RGTI. Oops, RGTI. That's currently down 7.5% on 3.7 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add RGTI to the list. Next up is RRGB, which is presently up 37.38% on 1.8 million shares, at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add RRGB to the list. Next up is SMMT, which is presently down 15.3% on 1.5 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add SMMT to the list. Next up is SPRO, which is presently up 10.33% on 3.7 million shares, at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add SPRO to the list. Next up is TIRX, which is presently at 15.85% on 18.4 million shares, at least $1 per share. So we'll add TIRX to the list. Next up is let me check Tesla for a second. Yeah, it's only down 1%. All right. Next up is VVPR, which is presently up 20%. 3.4 million shares, at least $1 per share. So we'll add that VVPR to our list. All right, folks, if you see any other stocks meeting all four of our criteria other than those already mentioned, let me know in the chat. We'll take a look. And here they are, the ones we found so far. So if you see any other stocks meeting all four criteria, let me know in the chat, and then we'll take a look. All right, so VIVK, that's up 43%, 19.2 million shares, at least $1 per share. Okay, so we'll add VIVK to the list. SBET, that's currently up about 33%, 2.1 million shares, at least $1 per share. So we'll add that, SBET. Next up is SPRO, which is presently up 12.68%, 3.8 million shares, at least $1 per share. All right, so we'll add, actually we already had SPRO in the list. Let's see, EOSE, we didn't have that. That's currently down 3%, so not enough, so we have to skip that one. INHD, that's currently, let's see, did I add that? No, I didn't add that already. INHD is currently up 6.3% on 1.2 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. All right, INHD is now added. All right, and then U, that is not a NYS, that's not a NASDAQ stock, but it's NYSE. So I'll have to pass on that. All right, folks, so we'll wrap up for today's pre-market pulse. Please be sure to like the video. I see we have 2 likes, but more than 2 people watching, so please be sure to hit the like button, which greatly helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Also, subscribe to the channel so that you get notifications when we publish a new video. And if anyone's watching this video on a replay and you're not familiar with our company, check out fundertrading.com, our website. You'll see a link in the description to this video. Other than that, for everyone as part of the coaching program, I'll see you there in about 17 minutes, and we'll pick up for today's session. All right, folks, have a great trading day. I'll see you for the next pre-market pulse, and also have a great weekend, of course. Take care.